Hi guys. So, Winx Club is rebooting, and if you have deja vu right now, it's because, yes, I did make a video over the Winx Club reboot more than 2 years ago, because we have all been waiting a very, very long time for this. I didn't even, show my face on camera back when I made that video. That's how long it's been. But we've all been sitting here, we've been patient, and we are sort of finally getting some information on the direction that this reboot is going. So, yeah, I really just wanted to kind of collect my thoughts and talk about the reboot, if what I've seen so far measures up to what I wanted, and just maybe what the future of Winx Club could look like. I should say first that I do not think this will be a very organized video, because I just have a lot of things I want to talk about and not necessarily a very neat way to go from one thing to the next. Because the way information has rolled out in regards to this reboot has been messy, and it's not necessarily Rainbow's fault. A lot of what we've seen so far, we weren't necessarily meant to see. They were leaks. But there is a lot that points to the production of this reboot also being pretty messy, as if they just couldn't decide on what exactly they wanted to do. And even now, nothing we've seen, even if it was shared with us officially, is finalized. The reboot's premiere date has been pushed back 2 or 3 times now, and it's confirmed that nothing close to a full episode has been produced yet. So they're still in the very early stages, even after just about 4 years of planning by now. So everything I talk about could very well be obsolete here in a few months, in which case, I don't know, I'll just have to make a new video, I guess. But the first thing I want to talk about is the biggest question that I think is on everyone's mind. Is a reboot even necessary? Is it the right move? Should they even be doing this? And the answer, for me at least, is yes, absolutely, 100% with absolute certainty. But let's get into it. So, it's no secret that Winx Club has just been steadily declining in quality for a very, very long time. And I don't want to get into, Winx Club's fall from grace, because that's a long story, and honestly not a bad topic for a video all on its own. But it is a pretty well-documented thing, too. The point being that Winx Club has not been in a good spot for a while, despite having a very, very dedicated fan base that still persists to this day. And originally, it seems like Rainbow did not even really want to do a full reboot. It was originally reported that we were going to get a season 9, a continuation of the last season. Then it was said that we were going to get a soft reboot, just a change in art style, but no major plot or character changes. But now, we are in the stage of a full reboot. We're going back to the beginning. We're starting over, and I think that is honestly the best move. For one, it's been a very long time since Winx Club was actively airing new episodes. Season 8 ended in, 2019? And it's not impossible to continue a show after a long hiatus. Look at Totally Spies. It being called a reboot, but it's quite literally just picking up where the last season left off, and it is officially a season 7. Aside from the art style changes, it's very much exactly the same show. But the difference between Totally Spies and Winx Club is that Totally Spies ended in a pretty okay spot. When we last saw Winx Club, it was in the worst state that the franchise has ever been in. And they have tried a lot of different things to fix this, different ways to bring their audience back. World of Winx, Fate, the Winx Saga, and none of them have worked. A reboot oftentimes really should be a last resort, and I think we have reached that point. We need the last resort. So, yes, I think a reboot is necessary, and it also gives Rainbow the opportunity to sit back and examine what they want to do with the franchise, where they want to take it, and why their previous attempts just didn't pan out. Because the Winx Club that we left off with in Season 8, I'll be perfectly honest, there's no salvaging it. Fate, absolutely no salvaging Fate the Winx saga. Time to make like Bloom, burn everything down, and just start over. Which brings me to my next question. Does the reboot look good? I mean, maybe, and that's a boring answer, I know, but it's like I said, nothing is final. But what we have seen does make me cautiously optimistic, maybe I should say, because we, frankly, just do not have a lot of historical context for Rainbow understanding what audiences want to see. We have 6 years worth of failed projects to account for, after all. 11 years of failed projects if you want to count the partnership with Nickelodeon, which you probably should, but I digress. When I look at what we've been given now, I do start to think, you know, maybe, just maybe, they kind of know what they're doing. And don't worry, I'm going to show these things as I talk about them, but I actually do want to take a quick detour. I'm sorry, I really am, but I did warn you this video would be disorganized. So in the midst of all this stuff about the Winx reboot coming out, Rainbow gave us something else, a teaser for another upcoming series, Mermaid Magic, which comes out on Netflix very soon, in August of this year. And I bring this up for a few reasons, mainly because I think it's a pretty good indication of what we're probably going to get with the Winx reboot. Not one-to-one, obviously, because I think Mermaid Magic might be going for like a slightly younger audience than what Rainbow wants for the Winx Club reboot, but I do say all of this in a very good way. Because the teaser for Mermaid Magic looks, I think, pretty good. Not amazing, only because I think the CGI animation and the art style are not spectacular, but the character designs are fun. We're getting transformations, we're getting magic spells and action sequences. Do you see what I mean? I think this is a good sign. I think it shows that Rainbow is finally understanding what audiences want to see when they tune into a fun, magical girl action show, you know? Does that make sense? So for me, that's one point in the this reboot might actually be good category. But what about what we've seen from Winx Club? Well, I'm so glad you asked. You always know just what to say to keep me on topic. First thing, we have a few clips that were shared by Rainbow themselves on the Winx Club official YouTube channel titled Winx Club Brand New Series First Official Clip. And in the description it says, here's a sneak peek of the most magical work in progress. Winx is coming back in 2025 with a brand new series. Stay tuned and get ready for more. And these are animation tests. They're not clips from any sort of episode. I don't think they were even meant to be seen by the general public, but they leaked online, and so Rainbow basically said, okay, here. And you can tell they're not finished, fully polished products just from watching them. But first, there's a short clip of Bloom just sitting at her desk, and I do think this will be more or less the animation style that we're going to get. There will probably be some small tweaks between this and the final product, but every promo image that we've seen, every piece of art, everything has been in this style, so I do think they're sticking with it. Do I like the art style? Well, it's not my favorite. It's very much that sort of Pixar wannabe art style that a lot of children's cartoons use. Which is not to say it looks bad, but I think one of the first things anyone remembers about the original Winx Club is its unique art style, the animation and the character designs. It had an identity all of its own that I don't think necessarily carries over into this one. But I don't think it's changing. I do think I might just have to accept it, learn to live with it. But I do wish the style was more unique, at least a little more reminiscent of the old one. It does look better than the CGI from the Nickelodeon seasons, though. I'll give them that. It trumps that by a mile. We also get a good look at Bloom's full outfit, and it matches some other pieces we've seen, so I think the Bloom we get is going to be pretty close to this design. And I will definitely talk more about like the fashion direction of the reboot when we get to that. But to just talk about Bloom for a moment, I don't think I like this outfit. CGI animation is a plus in the way it can give us more detailed outfits and character models than traditional animation can, but the outfit is maybe just a little much. Maybe she doesn't need both plaid capri leggings and denim cowgirl boot leg warmers. Perhaps just one or the other, right? Which, like, also, why is her outfit, like, vaguely Western inspired, but also if the ranch she lived on doubled as a Justice store circa 2014? It just really isn't the energy I think I want to see from Winx Club, and I don't like how much pink there is in it. Bloom, she's never been a pink girly to me. She's just not, and I love pink, but we already have characters who wear pink a lot. She doesn't need to just because she's the face of a girl's franchise, you know? Also, that might be the ugliest necklace I've seen in my entire life, but moving on. The next clip is a short exchange between Bloom and Mitzi. If you don't remember Mitzi, she was Bloom's bully in her hometown on Earth who just kind of appeared sporadically throughout the series. It's interesting that they included her in an animation test because she's not a very major character. But I like how she looks in it. I like her design. And also, the dynamic between her and Bloom seems more playful, I think, than like just straight up bullying. Which could be interesting if the reboot actually decides to expand on Mitzi's character. There's also some minor differences between Bloom's model in the last clip and this one. For one, her hair is a lot shorter and styled a little differently. And there was another version of this clip where they showed at Comic-Con where Mitzi just looks completely different. She looks better, actually, in my opinion. And also the bathroom environment looks very different too. I don't know which version is considered like the final version or which one will be closer to what we get when the reboot premieres next year. And it's hard for me to pass a lot of judgment too, aside from the visuals, which I have mixed feelings on. But I think the little clips are cute, and if the reboot does look like these, I mean, I won't be mad. I won't be unsatisfied. I don't think so. So, again, cautiously optimistic. Speaking of visuals, though, another thing that kind of stirred up the fandom was that there was this picture that dropped. And I don't think I can show it because it uses materials that were not officially released. They were concept art. But all you really need to know is that it was a picture of Bloom, Stella, and Aisha all together, and it had like a sparkly background and everything. It looked very official. And when this image came to light, it was reported that the new quote-unquote marketable trio would be these three, Bloom, Stella, and Aisha. If you don't know what that means, it means basically that they'll be the three to get priority in merchandise and toys and promotional materials. For most of Winx Club's life, that trio has been Bloom, Stella, and Flora. So they were saying basically that Aisha is replacing Flora. And I'll be clear, I'm a Flora stan. She's my favorite character, and she has been since I was very little. But I would be okay with this happening. And thematically, it also kind of makes sense because Stella, Bloom, and Aisha are the three that are canonically princesses. But here's the catch. The image was fan-made. It was not official. It was made by the Twitter account BR Winx Club. The watermark was even like right there on the bottom of the picture, actually. And there's been no official confirmation on who the new quote-unquote marketable trio is, or even if there will be one in the new reboot. Personally, I don't think we need one at all. Just market all the girls evenly. They all have their fan bases. They all have their markets. There's plenty that you can do with all of them. And why even bring this up, you might ask? And I'm so glad that you did. See, always keeping me on topic. You know me so well. But I thought this was a good segue into the next thing that I want to talk about, which is that I really, really hope the reboot has less racism in it. Because frankly, if Rainbow has not learned from their mistakes at this point, then there is no hope at all left for them. Because for years upon years, we have spoken against the way they have whitewashed their own characters. How in World of Winx, they lightened Flora and Aisha's skin tones. How in Fate, they completely deleted one character of color to replace her with a white character, and whitewashed Musa. And yes, I know they added in Flora in the next season, but that was after they were called out for removing her in favor of a white character to fill her role. And I don't want to be like, good for them, because these things never should have happened in the first place, but everything we've seen of Aisha, of Flora for that matter, their skin tones look correct, and they're also utilizing protective and natural hairstyles for Aisha too, which is nice to see. I sincerely hope the reboot treats her right. I hope she's included in the marketing just as much as everyone else, because there's really no reason at all that she shouldn't be, right? And although these mistakes were made and they can't change the history of it, I should hope that Winx Club's legacy isn't one of whitewashing and unambiguous racism anymore. I don't think that's too much to ask. At least I hope not. But I mentioned that that image we saw was just concept art, right? So what are we actually dealing with? As far as I can tell, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think this image is the closest thing we have right now to finalized looks for all the girls. And I say this because this is the picture that's been shown at panels and official promo materials, etc. So this is what Rainbow wants us to see. This is what they want us to expect. And I kind of like what I see. It's unfortunate that Bloom's outfit is the only one we've seen in full because it's easily the worst one. But everyone else I honestly think looks pretty good. They definitely need some tweaks here and there, but that could happen. Again, nothing is really final. I've already talked about Bloom, but let's just go in a line. Aisha looks good. I think her outfit is a good blend of like sporty and fashionable, which has always kind of been her style. She's the most active, the jockiest of the group, but she's never really been a tomboy. She's a dancer. She's graceful and glamorous too. And I think this look strikes a good balance. It is maybe a little too colorful. I do prefer her old, like, muted green and purple color scheme as opposed to these, like, bright neons, but I don't hate it. Flora, now, as I said, she's my favorite, so I have high standards for her. But I like this look. It might be a little on the nose. She's the fairy of nature, so put her in florals, put flowers on her shoulders, right? But it's a cute look. I like that it retains something about her original fashion style that I always liked, which is that it's like very vaguely vintage, sort of 70s inspired. I do take issue with the fact that it is very, very similar to Bloom's in terms of silhouette. Vests over long sleeves, mini skirt, big belt, big chunky necklace, so hopefully they can tweak a few details here and there and maybe just differentiate them both a little more. Musa, I'm a little mixed on, because I feel like they can definitely push Musa's fashion style a little more. The construction of the top is also just a little strange to me. It looks like armor, almost, like she's wearing a breastplate, which is maybe kind of awesome. I do like the colors, I like the hairstyle, but I also think her outfit could just have a lot more personality, I guess. Stella here is catching a lot of heat online because a lot of people don't like her outfit. They don't think it suits Stella who's supposed to be like the fashionista of the group, right? And I don't necessarily disagree. I think it's a cute look on its own, but it definitely needs something more. But this, no belt, no necklace, not even a bracelet. There is no world where Stella is not properly accessorizing. That's my issue here, especially with how many little details everyone else has in their outfits. The fact that hers is so plain is just confusing. And then there's Tekna, who I think looks pretty perfect. This is basically exactly how I would want her to look in a reboot. It does look like they're maybe going in like a robotic or an android direction with her, which I don't know if I want. It could be interesting. I don't know. I'm a little apprehensive of that, but I think her outfit is perfect. No notes, really. So my overall thoughts are, even though I'm not completely satisfied with everything, I think there's some decently good potential here. I can tell some amount of thought is going into the fashion, which is more that can be said for the last few years. So we're getting somewhere. Another big thing to talk about, there are transformations, there are fairy forms. And again, I don't know if these are the final concepts. I'm sorry I keep repeating myself, but I just want to be very clear about that. But we've seen this picture, which is a group image of all 6 girls. And we've also seen a lot of images of other designs, but these were only Bloom, Stella, and Flora. And these have been around for a long time, since 2021, while the other image is a lot more recent. And I've seen some people say that the 2021 versions are closer to what we're actually getting, and others say that the group picture is actually the more final version. I don't know, okay? I have no clue, but I do think I prefer the versions that came out in 2021, actually. And I have a very simple reason for that. See, the group picture features a lot of cool designs. I'm not going to deny that. They look very, very cool. But I also think these designs will translate very, very poorly to dolls. And I realize that is such a personal hang-up. It could not possibly get more subjective than that, but that's who I am. I'm a doll collector. That's how I think. And I want Winx Club to have beautiful, glamorous, show-accurate dolls. So I think the 2021 looks accomplish that a little better for me. They're simple, but effective, and are going to be easy looks to replicate for merchandise. And they're also very reminiscent of the original Magic Winx fairy forms, which are still the most recognizable and enduring forms of Winx Club. So there's no reason to, really reinvent the wheel, you know? Just because a design is more complex and more detailed doesn't necessarily make it better, or more functional, or more memorable. That's my hot take. So, yeah, these fairy forms look cool, and I would not be disappointed to see them in action. But for me, personally, I would like to see something more like the 2021 images. And I think that covers everything that I can, legally talk about, which is not a whole lot. But I think we'll be getting more and more as time progresses, and I look forward to maybe making an updated video to see where we are then. If things have gotten better, gotten worse, who knows? But Rainbow, do not mess this up. Do not. Because if this flops, I think you have truly, without a doubt, squandered your last chance for Winx Club. Because if this fails too, I do not see how I could ever trust you to do, I don't know, literally anything. Really, it's been over a decade of bad decisions. Make a good one. For the love of God, one good decision. But now it is, of course, your turn. Go down in the comments and tell me your thoughts on the Winx Club reboot. Do you like the direction it's taking so far? Do you hate it? What would you change? What are some specific things you're hoping to see? Whatever's on your mind, just go down there and tell me about it. And when you're done with that, just be sure to like and subscribe for any future fashion doll content. Thank you.